I'm surrounded by way too much technology. Hey guys, it's Adam. I know this isn't usually like my videos. In fact, I don't even have a tripod right now. I've just got my microphone and everything hooked up. But I figured since the video I posted a couple of nights ago, or actually yesterday morning, as of filming today, since it did so well that I decided I would just shoot a little short for the midweek. This should be up by Wednesday. And I decided, I've never done this before, never really even had the desire to do this before, but I decided that I want to show everyone my computers. That's it. That's the video. I just want to show everyone the setup I have and what I use. So, let's get to it. So to start off, this is my most useless and probably my favorite computer all in the same time. It's actually a tower. I know you can't see it too well, but it is down there. And the reason it's one of my favorites is it's the first that I really built. I trash picked the tower itself. My dad, where he worked, they were throwing it out, and he brought it to me. See, I was about 17. He brought it to me and he said, if you can fix it, you can have it. And so, it used to be a Pentium D, and I dropped in a dual-core Xeon that was in the original Mac Pro. It also used to be a Hackintosh until I kind of got tired of using the software. But I dropped a dual-core Xeon in it. I've dropped 4 gigs of RAM and a 160 gig hard drive. And as you can see, it's a dual-core Xeon at 2.4 gigahertz, 4 gigs of RAM, 64-bit version of Windows 10. And I may re-Hackintosh it, I may not, probably won't. And the only reason is, it only went up to El Capitan anyway, but as you can see, very slowly and with a lot of stutters, I can play GTA 5 on here. I do use it for a couple of more Steam games. It actually plays 4K video. It also plays videos at 1080p, 60 frames per second. I stream a lot of my Xbox games to this just because it's a bigger screen and I've got my sound system hooked up over here. But yeah, the total cost for this, like for the RAM and the G4 610 that I dropped in it, was like $75. So this is my cheapest, most useless, and my favorite computer, because again, my best friend Matthew and I were the ones that got it up and running. But you know, up next is not really a computer, but it is something I use a lot. My iPad mini. Grand total for this with the Zag keyboard and the Mini 2 itself was like it was $199 for the Mini, plus tax was about $220, and then the keyboard itself cost me about another $20, so about $240 for all of it. There's not really much to say about it. I mean, it's an iPad, and it has a keyboard, and that keyboard glows brightly, like really brightly. And I don't know if the battery... Oh god, the battery's dying. Okay, yeah, that explains a lot. Haven't charged it in probably 2 or 3 months. But yeah, that's my iPad mini. This is another one of those that I really don't have a use for it anymore. It's my PowerBook G4. It's one of the last PowerBook G4s ever made. It's the 1.67 gigahertz G4, and even though it says it has a gig of RAM, it actually has 2 gigs in there. It's just a glitch. It's running 10.5.8 Leopard, but as you can see, that's been reskinned to look a lot like El Capitan or Sierra. But, I mean, just to kind of prove a point, like, this isn't Launchpad, it's dashboard. But, I mean, you get the idea. I used to use this every day. Over the end of spring and the beginning of summer, I did use this every day. I may take notes with it in college, but I really doubt it, and I'll show you why. This next computer I'm going to show you is probably my favorite laptop. Oh, I forgot to say, I paid about like $80 for this, I think. And, you know, right now it sits under my bed and I use it as a DVD player when I'm too lazy to get up and go somewhere. But even then, I have a Fire TV plugged up to my TV right there. So, I don't know, in the comments below, tell me what I can use this for. Because right now I just kind of, like if I want to use iWork 09 for whatever reason, I break this out. Or if I just want to feel nostalgic, or if I want to play my Daft Punk collection, I break this out. But that's about it. That's all I use it for. This laptop I owe all of my success to. This is my early 2009 MacBook. As you can see from the last video, it's changed a lot. I've got a new hinge cover. I've got a new bezel around it. This is actually a 99-cent keyboard cover because I could not find a black MacBook keyboard to save my life. But when I bought this computer, it was actually an early 2008 model, and the guy said, "Oh yeah, it will run the newest software," and I did not know any better. And so I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." So I paid for it. It came, and then I tried to install Yosemite, and it failed. And I flipped out because I had just paid like $160 for this computer. So I got into the unsupported Mac game, and when El Capitan came out, I kind of got tired of waiting. There's actually a hack for El Capitan for the 08 MacBook now. But I dropped in a early 2009 Logic board and upgraded everything, and I'm really glad I did, because now I've got Sierra on here, and as you can see, I have Wi-Fi now because I actually took the Wi-Fi card out of my iMac, because I wasn't really using Sierra on the iMac anyway, and I knew I would need the latest stuff here for college, so I went ahead and took the Wi-Fi card out of the iMac. But yeah, as you can see, this is probably my most beautiful laptop. It's definitely my most favorite laptop because, again, I owe all of my success in the unsupported Mac game to this laptop. If it hadn't been for the guy that screwed me over on eBay and me trying to make the best for it, I would have totally missed out. Now, a lot of people ask me where I get my wallpapers. In fact, one of my friends on Facebook was like, "Oh my gosh, you're using one of my photos for your wallpaper. How cool." Guys, every 2 or 3 days I just Google the word nature, or I'll go on Facebook and scroll through some photos, because I live in probably one of the most beautiful mountain areas in western North Carolina. And a lot of people like to go hiking and they'll upload photos of nature, or I'll just Google something and I find a picture or two and I use them as wallpapers for the week. But I'm always looking for nature wallpapers. As you can tell, my desktop had a nature wallpaper. In fact, I still think it's got the one that my friend on Facebook had taken. My PowerBook had a nature wallpaper. My iPad had the Sierra wallpaper, but just because I was feeling nostalgic and wanted to try and make it look like Sierra. But you'll see, if I'm not mistaken, my MacBook Pro has the El Capitan wallpaper, and my iMac has the El Capitan wallpaper, but I love nature, so I typically use Apple wallpapers anyway. But up next on the list is my MacBook Pro. Next up is my late 2006 17-inch MacBook Pro. Now, this computer was actually given to me, so I kind of lied when I said that the desktop was my cheapest computer. This was my cheapest computer. I've not spent a dime on this computer. I did salvage 4 gigs of RAM out of it and put 2 gigs in this one instead, because it's just kind of like a media machine. I don't use it for everyday tasks, and I knew I was going to be using the MacBook for everyday tasks, but as you can see, it's running Yosemite. 2.33 gigahertz Core 2 Duo, 2 gigs of RAM. I plan on upgrading that back to 4. The graphics card does not have OpenGL in Yosemite. but it is very hard, and I think I've explained this before, unless you go to Launchpad, it is very hard to tell that you don't have OpenGL graphics. In fact, one of the coolest things to test and see if you do have OpenGL is to play 3D chess on your Mac. Well, the thing is, this thing doesn't even have supported OpenGL, and yet it very slowly opens and plays 3D chess. Now, I don't know the first thing about chess, so I may lose here. Just cancel that for right now. Okay, I played my hand. Play. Go for it. Yeah, see, I mean, it's very slow, but it does work. It's probably a little bit slower.
Pawnee.
Yeah. It's probably a little bit slower because I took the 4 gigs of RAM out of it and put in 2 gigs. But that was one of the things that really amazed me, is even though this thing doesn't have OpenGL support, it still plays chess. Like, it still does everything except for launching Launchpad, as you can see. I mean, it launches it, but it's really crappy and really slow. And I don't even use Launchpad anymore anyway. I still don't have El Capitan on here, but I'm going to try again today. I'm actually going to install it on a computer that does support El Capitan. I've got a 128 gig flash drive right here. So I'm going to install it on a computer that does support El Capitan and run all of the hacks to it, and then try to plug it into here. And if it works, I mean, hey, I'll shoot a video on it this weekend. Last, but certainly not least, this is my mid-2009 iMac. I showed it off in the last video, but in the last video it was running Sierra, now it's running El Capitan again. Just because, you know, I watch DVDs on this thing, I watch Netflix on this thing, I don't really... Okay, I mean, occasionally I'll use Final Cut Pro and edit some videos, but I don't really do a lot with it. Know what I mean? Can't get my camera to focus good. But anyway, as you can see, it's actually sporting a lot of power. It's got a 2 GHz Core 2 Duo, 6 gigs of DDR3 RAM, and the GeForce 9400M. This is... Actually, no, it's the GeForce 9400 regular, not even the mobile. This is probably my most powerful desktop, and I'm not using it as much as I should. And pardon the messy desk, but, you know, I've tried to keep a classic theme going. I've got my original Apple keyboard from my iMac way back when, before I dropped it. And I picked this up at a thrift store, believe it or not, for about 50 cents. It's an Apple Pro mouse, and I couldn't believe it. Like, it's in great condition. It's got a couple scratches, as you can see, but it's in great condition, and it really matches that kind of like white on black contrast that Apple's always gone for. And, you know, there's not really much to say about it. It's a beautiful machine. I can't wait to get a replacement Wi-Fi card for it, because I am going to go back to Sierra on it, kind of keep it up to date. But it is a just genuinely beautiful machine, and I love it. So I know this isn't like the other videos. There's no intro. There will be an outro, as always. But I just kind of wanted to say thank you guys for all the support this past year. I went from 70 subscribers to 402 as of this recording. 98 more to go. We are going to hit 500. I firmly believe that. We're going to hit 500 subscribers by December 31st. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. There should be a new video Saturday. I've got a couple of ideas. Anyway, this is Adam. Take it easy.